Welcome to City and State. I'm editorial director Michael Johnson. For more than 2 decades, Suri Kassir has been one of the top lobbyists in New York City. And once again, she was on our Power 100 list this year, and we're glad to be joined by her today. First off, congratulations on being on the Power 100 list. The list is obviously subjective to some level, but I think it's widely agreed upon that you are one of the most powerful lobbyists and influencers, and your firm is one of the most powerful influencers in the city. So what's the key to your success, and your success for a long time now?
First of all, I'm so honored to be part of the list. I have such respect for City and State. So many of us, the first thing in the morning, read the email, chock full of information, and so being part of the list is really an honor. I would say that, our team is really focused on 2016. Whatever the year is, that's where we're focused on. And all the experience that the team brings to the table is relevant, but it's about being nimble and having a strategy for today, knowing the power players and influencers today, figuring out how to build coalitions today. And everybody on our team has both government and political experience. And it's that overlay of the politics on the sort of understanding of how government works that helps us to develop, I think, successful strategies for our clients, whether it's in the not-for-profit sector, in the real estate sector, or in the corporate sector. Our clients are really interested in making sure that their voices are heard and that they can achieve their goals. And so that is our goal, to help them achieve their goals.
So what would you say are some of the trends or the changes maybe as you head into 2016? What are some of the things that you are maybe focusing more on now that maybe you didn't focus on a couple of years before?
Well, I think the focus of the city is very, very clear, and that's very helpful. The mayor has been very, very clear about a focus on affordable housing, focus on income equality, focus on the universal pre-K as part of the income equality. And I think it's helpful for us to have a very clear sense of the priorities of the current government, both in the city council side and also on the administration side. And it helps us to figure out how we can overlay our clients' goals and help them achieve them. And making sure that they intersect with what it is that the administration is trying to accomplish.
And obviously the administration sets a lot of kind of the parameters of how government, lobbying, consulting all works in this city. What would you say has been the biggest change? Because you obviously started during the Giuliani administration and went through all the Bloomberg years. Now you have Mayor de Blasio. Have you seen some remarkable changes, or do you think a lot of it stays the same to some level?
Well, look, I think it's always important to know people, and many of the people in this administration, including the mayor, have been friends and colleagues for 25 years, so that's always very important. But for us, it's not just about who you know, but it's how to achieve a strategy that leads you to a successful goal. So we're very strategic thinkers, and we put together a plan and a strategy that involves using people who are influencers in New York City, knowing who and knowing how to get things done.
And obviously a lot of focus is on real estate. The mayor has been made affordable housing a key cornerstone of his administration. You're someone who's represented real estate interests or real estate companies for many, many years. We saw last year to some level this a kind of I guess an adjustment to some level. The mayor has different priorities than Mayor Bloomberg did. You have a lot of stuff happening in Albany too, with the 421A tax credit expiring. What do you see the future of real estate moving towards? Do you think that there's going to be a kind of a clear difference in the path of the city grows going forward under Mayor de Blasio and under kind of the current makeup, or do you think that this is maybe being overblown to some level?
Well, I think with some of the changes that are happening in MIH, ZQA, the challenges of 421A not being renewed, and hopefully there will be some kind of deal at some point, because that's really essential. What we're excited about is the real estate sector has been incredibly busy and incredibly vibrant, and we're so thrilled that we are really a part of that. We this past year finished a successful ULURP on One Vanderbilt, which is going to be a brand new development office building in the center of the business, the business district in New York. We took that project to a successful ULURP, and the demolition has begun. And so it's just really exciting to see the beginnings of the East Midtown rezoning. We were successful in helping to get the Vanderbilt corridor to happen, and now we're looking forward to the East Midtown rezoning. We have the opportunity right now, we are working with the Archdiocese that has significant air rights that we hope are going to be very much part of the East Midtown rezoning, and that's going to give them the opportunity to do a lot of the important work that they do on the affordable housing front, and really helping the underprivileged folks in our city. So there's a lot happening in real estate, and we're really busy, and we hope that it continues that way.
And I think that in the past it's kind of been presented to some level. The narrative has been like real estate interests are kind of pitted against some of the more poorer communities or the less wealthy people in New York City, working class people in New York City to some level. And you're someone who kind of bridges the gaps to a little bit there to some level. Obviously, the mayor's message of like progressive and equity and quality, or income equality to some level, and he has that progressive level. And there was this sense that it was kind of pitted against what real estate interests were at some level. But as someone who works kind of in the middle of those two, it seems to me that there's been kind of consensus that's been built. How is that kind of? How have you seen that play out to some level? Because I know there was a lot of fear when Mayor De Blasio was coming in amongst like members of the real estate community that he wasn't going to be as real estate friendly as Mayor Bloomberg.
Well, I mean, I never believed that. I represent Forest City, Ratner, and worked on the Atlantic Yards, and he was always a supporter of Atlantic Yards. And despite the fact that there were others, specifically colleagues of his who represented that district when he was in the city council, who were not necessarily supportive. So I always think he's done the right thing on the real estate side, and I've always seen him as a supporter. I think the fact that he is willing to look at density and height in a way that sometimes people have been afraid of in order to achieve his goals of affordable housing. We're now working in areas like the Gowanus, Greenpoint, Sunset Park, areas of Queens. We have a number of projects in Long Island City. We have clients looking at Sunnyside Yards. So we're really working all over the city. I would say that our focus was much more Manhattan previously, and really now we're working everywhere.
That's great. Before I let you go, I just wanted to talk a little bit about kind of like your roots to some level. Obviously, you have a Syrian heritage, and you got your start in government to some level and helping Syrian Jews. Obviously, it's got to be a little bit concerning or troubling, obviously, what's been happening in Syria. I just wanted to get your thoughts on I guess, kind of what that situation is to some level, and on a personal level, how does that been to kind of experience and watch this? Because I remember, I took a trip to Jordan a couple of years ago, and I remember listening to like podcasts and reading guidebooks, and people were saying, if you're going to Jordan, you should go to Syria. It's beautiful, and clearly, obviously, it's a war-torn country now.
So I'm very, very proud of my Syrian heritage. My father's a Holocaust survivor and was a sole survivor, so didn't have much family. And so all I have is my Syrian relatives. My grandmother was one of 12, my mother was one of 5. So we have a very, very large family, and I've always been intrigued by the Syrian traditions and the Syrian customs. And I consider myself an Arab American, and I consider myself a Jewish Arab American. And I have been very active in speaking out about that. I was involved in founding an organization to help get the 4,000 Jews out of Syria that could not get out. And we built a successful strategy, international, I would say, and really were able to get the doors open, and anyone who wanted to leave out of the 4,000 were able to leave, and the organization then went on to help settle those people that came out. So while many of my friends and colleagues were involved in helping the Russian Jews, I was very, very interested in how nobody was really focused on the 4,000 Jews that were left there. And I would say that that's how I got my start in advocacy, really understanding the power of advocacy and what a successful strategy could achieve. So it is very troubling to watch the current events in Syria. And I'm hopeful that the people that are suffering are getting help, and I know many organizations and many folks are out there trying to do what they can.
Is there more that maybe the city could be doing, or just either through advocacy or organization to some level?
I mean, I think a big piece of this is people's awareness of what goes on in the Middle East. I think there's so much misinformation and so much fear about the Middle East. And I think that the more people are educated about what's going on and really how they can help, the better.
Great. Suri Kassira, President of Kassira Consulting, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.